Hey guys, I'm Airstrike Ivanov, and welcome to the Student StarCraft AI Tournament. We're going to start off this Sunday by watching McGrave take on Lossitus here on Icarus. I like this map because you've got a lot of these really small defensible bridges and ramps, but then at the same time you've got a lot of really big open spaces here to take on big fights, which hopefully we'll see some today. And then in the upper left we've got McGrave playing Zerg, taking on Lossitus, and the upper right playing Protoss. And it already looks like McGrave is a little bit ahead with his workers, and he's sending his Overlord to scout the wrong section of the map. Meanwhile, we have Lossitus already coming down into his natural to place a pylon. And it looks like he's going to send that probe off to scout. It looks like Lossitus is going to get lucky and find McGrave's base first try, because he's headed straight for it. We've got McGrave starting to build up something over here, probably a spawning pool. Yep, there's your spawning pool. And meanwhile, we've got Lossitus working on his cannons. Or on his forge, anyway, to get cannons. And it looks like the second Overlord he's got is going to be a little bit more lucky with finding Lossitus' main base. Now it looks like McGrave's already got another drone headed off towards the net. He wants to get that second hatchery up as soon as possible. And Lossitus getting his first cannon in the natural. Great, starting up with some Zerglings. Meanwhile, Lossitus has started building a Nexus and his natural. Now he's got a gateway coming up. But it looks like McGrave isn't going to wait for any more cannons to finish. He may not even be aware of the cannons yet. But Lossitus isn't going to give him any breaks here. Yeah, he knows they're there now. Now Lossitus has the gateway completed, and he's going for gas. McGrave with 3 drones on gas already. Yeah. Lossitus now going for a cybernetics core while he makes his first zealot. And McGrave going for the lair, which means he's probably going to be going for Mutalisks. Lossitus doing a good job of baiting that Zergling with the probe. Lossitus' cybernetics core finished. And immediately he starts making his first Dragoon. Pushing for a Templar Archives, interesting. Oh, that's a Citadel of Dune. My mistake. There's the expected Spire for McGrave, and he's going to be pushing hard into his second gas because he's going to want that for Mutalisks. Looks like he's going to try and push an attack. Yeah, I don't think he... Just some very interesting micromanagement from McCrave right there. He knows exactly where to stop those Zerglings. Another pylon coming up. Velocitus has... they both have a lot of gas saved up now. Velocitus putting up more cannons at his main. There's the Templar archives. McCrave with an interesting line of creep colonies here. He's probably going to turn them into Sunkens. But he's not wasting any time getting 6 Mutalisks started. Those poor Zerglings, they know they're trapped. McCrave expanding into more bases to get unit production up. And now we see Velocitus building a handful of High Templars. Here comes the Mutalisk's attack. Yeah, that was... the cannons did a good job of fending those off. Oh, he's making Archons. Nice. Yeah, it looks like he's going to try and push the Mutalisks down and take out this lone pylon, possibly. Yeah, he's going to do a good job, I think, of targeting the pylons. But he knows if he gets any closer, the cannons are going to open on him. And now we have Velocitus pushing with a main force. Those Archons are going to do a great job of taking out all those Zerglings and those Sunkens if they can get close enough. Looks like now we've got the attack. One Sunken's going to go down almost right away. But he's got 2 air units. If he can get those Archons on the Mutalisks, he might be able to... He was able to get 2 Sunkens taken down, but unfortunately, most of his army has now been killed. But it looks like he's going to push it anyway. Oh, there goes the Archon. There goes the other Archon. He's falling back after that. But in the meantime, he's got 5 more Dragoons coming up, 6 more now. Pushing hard on the Dragoons. But those Mutalisks are doing a great job of taking out those cannons. He's finally got enough of them massed together. But the Corsair will make short work of them if they're not careful. Velocitus starting to push up with the Dragoon army. He doesn't seem to be bothered too much by the Mutalisks either. Because he knows that they'll fall him back when he moves up to attack. Here comes the Corsair to take out the Mutalisks. But the Mutalisks are starting to separate a little bit. This was a good push by Lossitus here. Oh, that was very lucky that he took out the Lurker before it finished burrowing. Deciding now is the time to push. And there goes the last Sunken now, which leaves this base very defenseless. That Lurker getting the lucky burrow though. Of course, Corsair's keeping the Mutalisks scattered just enough. The Grave has started trying to get Hydralisks now to counter the Corsairs. Unfortunately, it looks like there's not going to be a whole lot here McCrave can do to stop him at this point. Those Lurkers getting the job done though. Lossitus is really having the advantage here once he gets past those Lurkers. All those drones trying to burrow and save themselves. I don't know if Lossitus knows about McCrane's other base over here yet. Oh, yes he does. McCrane needs to get really lucky here to stop this. And it doesn't look like it's gonna happen. The Hydralisk dead, the last building in this base to go. That's his main. Here comes the Corsair to take on the Mutalisks. And now we have Lossitus attacking the last base McCrave has. Those poor Sunkens aren't going to be enough to stop the onslaught at this point, especially because here come the Zealots from the main. They're going to try to burrow at least, but unfortunately it's really not going to help them. It looks like this is over now, and all he has to do is finish off the 2 extractors to get the win. 1 extractor now. And it looks like he's headed straight for it, because he knows it's there. McCrave trying really hard to keep any more units from entering the playing field here, but unfortunately the 2 Lurkers aren't going to be enough. And there you have it, folks. Lossitus has beat McCrave. Alright, it looks like we're off to our next match. We're going to watch Purple Wave here in the upper left facing off against Nightcat in the lower right once again on Icarus. And it looks like Purple Wave's already ahead, just slightly with the workers. And there's our first pylon for Purple Wave. And now we have Nightcat making his first supply depot. Looks like Purple Wave is saving up for a gateway. And we have Nightcat already starting to move to scout. And Purple Wave now starting to scout. Looks like Nightcat is going to the right. They're both going to go to the right. And now we have Purple Wave already getting his assimilator up. And now a refinery for Nightcat. We have a barracks also coming up here. He's already got 3 probes waiting for the gas. And the refinery should be done now. And there's his 3 SCVs. And it looks like Purple has found Nightcat. But unfortunately, Nightcat is still looking in the wrong place. Getting a cybernetics core for Purple Wave, so he's going to be going straight to Dragoons. And Nightcat going with some Marines. And he's going to try and kill the probe. Now we've got a Dragoon coming out of the gateway over here, and he's researching something. Dragoon range. And in the meantime, it looks like Nightcat has finally found Purple's base. But of course, Purple is not pleased with this. And now we got Nightcat starting to move his Marines just to the top of the ramp. And there goes CSCB. Purple expanding into his natural now. While Nightcat continues to try and build up a wall of Marines on the ramp to prevent things from coming up. That's a pretty cool strategy. We've also got 2 factories coming up, so he's definitely going to be going heavy on vultures or tanks. Probably tanks, if I had to guess. And in the meantime, we've got Purple sending a few Dragoons in. But the wall has been formed, so he's not going to be able to get all the way up the ramp. Oh, but he is going to lead them down. It looks like he's researching spider mines, so Nightcat is definitely going to be going vultures. And there goes a Marine. But now he has a vulture up, so this is going to become problematic. Yeah, he's running away now. He isn't going to send his vultures yet. He's going to wait for Purple Wave to come. Purple Wave's Stargate almost finished now. Looks like he's got mines unlocked now. And there goes a Dragoon. But in the meantime, he's got a Zealot coming to reinforce. Working towards his... I think that's a Templar Archives. Nightcat really pushing the mechanical units here. Now getting... good number of tanks and vultures now. And there goes one of the vultures, but they have the mines placed. And now it looks like Nightcat's going to press the advantage because he has mines. The Dragoons are getting stuck on each other, unfortunately. But he's got more coming to help. Unfortunately, he's losing them just as fast. Now he has a Dark Templar, which is going to come in very handy, knowing that Nightcat doesn't have any kind of detection. But Nightcat does have reinforcements coming. Oh, they see the Dark Templars. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough to help with this attack, and those Dark Templars are just destroying everything that comes up to them. Luckily, those mines are going to stop a lot of counterattacks, and there goes one of the Dark Templars. There goes the other one. Nightcat's still pushing all three types of units right now, tanks, vultures, and marines. While Purple Wave is working on an Arbiter, which is going to be a very interesting play. Because Nightcat still doesn't have very good detection. Dragoon's doing a good job at mopping up those mines before they can come close. Really good job. And there goes the last tank. Ooh, there goes a Dragoon though. Watching these units just push really hard. Psionic Storm almost finished upgrading. You can see he has a Templar there. He is waiting to have that unlocked to use it already. This poor tank trying to run away. And now they have an Arbiter. And that Arbiter is going to help these Dragoons make easy kills with this. And now we have our Psionic Storms coming in. Purple Wave really pushing to hold this central part of the map. And Nightcat gonna just walk right into it. A very good placement of Psionic Storm there, while Nightcat, or Purple Wave, continues to expand to other parts of the map. It's probably not going to be enough, though, that he keeps just sending units and placing mines, because those Dragoons can kill him now before they even come out. Another really great Psionic Storm placement by one of Purple Wave's Templars. Really doing a good job at blocking off a lot of these bases so that Nightcat can't expand into them. Purple Wave just going absolutely full on with the unit production, as you can see by the production thing in the lower left. He's finally starting to press the attack though. The Spider Mine is just not enough to stop that onslaught of Zealots and Dragoons. Poor tanks just getting caught in the middle as well. Purple Wave ready to just steamroll right into this base. That Arbiter providing more than enough cover as they move in. Just pushing the attack very hard. This match is probably going to end very quickly here because Nightcat did not expand at all. Those poor factories just getting obliterated. Great Psionic Storm placement again on the workers. Really nothing Nightcat can do at this point. All he can do is maybe try to get an SCV out of the base, but it's unlikely that they're gonna get out. The command center now taking the hits. Great Psionic Storm placement on those workers. Unfortunately, Nightcat no longer has SCVs or a command center, so this is pretty much over. And that's another win for Purple Wave. And for our last match today, we have Crassio on the lower left playing Terran, taking on Monster in the lower right playing Zerg on Circuit Breakers. And Circuit Breakers is pretty interesting because the natural is very easy to defend, but then you have the next bases nearby are very open and exposed. And you can see even the ramps are larger, and it makes it harder to defend those. And it looks like Monster is already ahead slightly in workers, sending his scout to the upper left in the map, because normally they would be across from each other. Yeah, most of the time, but this time they are not. Crassio already working towards more SCVs and a supply depot, while Monster continues to work on supplies and drones. Crassio has started to scout to the upper left, because that seems to be the most common spawn. And in the meantime, he's going to start building up a barracks as quickly as he can, while Monster continues to hammer out pure workers. Barracks about halfway done now as Monster already starts expanding into his natural. Sending another SCV out to scout. Oh, he's coming back. Monster now working on his spawning pool, while Crassio begins putting out his first Marines. Crassio's scout now in the upper right, which means he's pretty much narrowed it down to where Monster's main base is at this point. And meanwhile, he has Marine patrolling to prevent scouts from coming in. Monster's hatchery almost completed, while Crassio builds a bunker at his natural in a great spot to defend it. That drone not standing a chance against those Marines, while he continues to put out more, presumably to fill the bunker with. Monster beginning to put out Zerglings, while he fights off the SCV scouting his base. Also getting gas. And an additional hatchery. Thrasio now building his command center up, while Monster's first Zerglings come out. Thrasio looks like he's going to load the Marines into the bunker. Here comes the Zergling. And they, just like that, they go into the bunker. Perfect. The Overlord has finally found Thrasio's base. Those Marines are probably going to kill it. Yeah, it's going to die. And there it goes. Command center almost completed now, as his refinery finishes, and he immediately starts getting gas. Monster definitely has a big advantage here on the gas as he pushes for his lair. Thrasio now getting an academy up and another barracks. Very efficient with the resource gathering from Monster here. And there goes the SCV scouting out his base. Those sunken colonies are well placed as well. And Monster is pushing hard for gas. Here comes another SCV to scout. It's probably going to immediately meet those sunkens. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like he's going to stop scouting now, and he's building comsat stations on both command centers. So far has not pushed to a factory yet. But he does have a lot of Marines ready to handle incoming Zerglings. Monster, however, is now starting to work on his Spire. So he's probably going to be getting Mutalisks. Those sides very comfortable now with the defense of their natural. And here we have a small army from Monster starting to push. Unfortunately, it's very unlikely they're going to get past the bunker. Yeah, they're already moving back. Spire just about completed now. And it looks like Thrasio is getting missile turrets now. They're also researching weapons upgrades for his bio. That is a good number of Marines now. He could start pressing the attack if he wanted. But unfortunately, it's not going to help him once all these Mutalisks are finished at Monster's bases. And he is building a large number of them, as you can see in the lower left. And it looks like Thrasio is finally getting his first factory. And I've seen him make some great plays with siege tanks before, so we're going to see if that's what he decides to go with today. Mutalisks now starting to come out. And he is performing a great attack. He's killed multiple supply depots, but those missile turrets are doing a good job at keeping him back. Now he's focusing a lot more missile turrets because he knows that there's a good number of Mutalisks on the field. And Monster only pushing for more gas and more hatcheries, which is a very smart move. Unfortunately, those missile turrets are doing a good number on the Mutalisks, but he is still getting a lot of kills on workers. And he just keeps cranking out more and more Mutalisks at the same time. Now pushing to a hive, which is interesting. Siege mode. Crassio building a science facility. And meanwhile, Monster's now building Hydralisks and the more Sunkens to protect the new base up here. Crassio has taken a significant number of losses, and it looks like he still has to make more units to recover the SCVs that he lost. And in the meantime, Monster is actually making Guardians, which is very surprising. These Mutalisks doing a good number, but the Valkyries are going to make short work of them if they're not careful. Very solid defense now by Crassio. More hatcheries at the main base. Crassio building Scourges and a Defiler nest, which is very interesting. Crassio now focusing on Marines and some more siege tanks, as he builds up another barracks and factory. Monster's Scourges now looking for enemy air units. That poor Vulture's going to end up trapped. Crassio very confident now in his defense of the area that he's began expanding outward. And that is a really solid movement on the Marines too. Sometimes they just never stop moving. A Zergling gets killed by the Vulture. And Monster's going to start expanding up to the upper right now, having a definite advantage in the number of bases. And it's now going to be very interesting to see the Defiler in action that Monster has made. As you heard him eating a Zergling before. Very nice arc by the Zerglings as well. Great use of the open space. And it looks like now he's going to start scouting enemy base, but that Comsat array is too much for him. There goes one of the lurkers, and there goes the other lurker. But here comes the rest of the army that he has. Those siege tanks doing huge damage to the Zerglings. But that Dark Swarm, that is good use of Dark Swarm though. That Valkyrie making short work of the Mutalisks, while Dark Swarm protects the few Zerglings he has left in the attack. This is a really good use of Dark Swarm. All those Marines just getting obliterated. Dark Swarm doing a very good job of protecting those units from the siege tanks. Valkyrie's now trying to focus the Mutalisks again. Monster definitely can outpace Crassio at this point when it comes to unit production. Those Mutalisks doing a good job at baiting the Valkyrie and staying apart when they get attacked. The Defiler's waiting for more Zerglings to eat so that it can do more Dark Swarm. Those Marines pushing the attack now because they know if they can keep the Zerg out of the swarm. And this is very good use of Devour too, to keep the Defilers going. Monster just seriously outpacing him and making a large number of Zerglings every chance he gets. And this is going to end very badly if Crassio can't get through the swarm and start actually killing some of these units as they come in. We can hear lurkers dying left and right. Those Marines also taking a beating because they can't actually kill the Zerglings inside. It looks like this outer base is going to get very quickly overrun by the Zerg. The Comsat station almost gone down. And in the meantime, the Dark Swarm placement continues to be just absolutely spot on. And it's not going to be enough to save this base from Monster's onslaught. Those lurkers doing a very good job of destroying everything they can get to. Here comes the next wave of attackers. Oh, but he just lost a Defiler. Here comes the next wave of attackers. Although it looks like he's gonna fall back. So it looks like this attack has ended for now, but that base has been almost completely destroyed. He lost several important structures, including a Comsat array. And here comes the next wave now, before they can prepare their defenses. You have a Marine trying to bait those Zerglings away. And the Valkyrie has just been taken out by the Scourge. And the small base that Crassio tried to put up in the upper left has been destroyed now. Monster, meanwhile, has more new bases and a large number of hatcheries. And this Vulture doing a good job at kiting that Zergling. Monster just waiting to push the next attack here. Those siege tanks are absolutely ready and firing across the bridge though. So it looks like he's going to try and pool his forces together. It looks like Crassio is ready to push, possibly. Good use of Irradiate on grouped units as well from Crassio. Fortunately for that siege tank, it's probably going to get overwhelmed if it stays there. But so far doing a good job at preventing them from getting into the swarms that they're forming. But here comes the next big wave, it looks like. those Marines and that siege tank just doing good work on defending that bridge. Monster wanting to get another wave together probably before he attacks. But at the rate he's still outpacing Crassio in unit production, it's likely that he's going to push another big attack soon. Because right now he just keeps moving in briefly and then running back, but it looks like this time he's going to push it. Very good use of Dark Swarm again to protect the swarm of Zerglings as they enter the bridge. They're still getting slaughtered as soon as they leave, though. This wave almost ending in failure, but has another wave of reinforcements coming. A Defiler getting irradiated. And there goes the Defiler. But it looks like that was just a diversionary tactic to get in from the ramp side. Again, great use of Dark Swarm to form a good arc as the Zerg units surround and destroy buildings. And then you just keep hearing that Defiler eating up other Zerglings to keep casting Swarms so rapidly. All those Scourges ready to take on any kind of Valkyries that come their way. Goliath's now firing through the swarm. But here comes another big wave of Zerg units to enter the Dark Swarms. A Defiler eating like crazy. More Dark Swarm placement. This is a very interesting tactic that I actually haven't seen myself before, because I'm relatively new to the community still. Those siege tanks, though, doing a great job at holding back the waves of Zerg as they come in. And good placement so that they can defend both the ramp side and that closest bridge. Looking at the minimap, you see that Crassio has expanded again into the upper left. Monster doing a great job with Dark Swarm placement again to protect that bridge as best he can. But those siege tanks just making mincemeat out of those Zerglings. And here come the Mutalisks to harass. And then the Goliaths come to take on the Mutalisks. And in the meantime, you've got more Zerglings, Hydralisks, Lurkers, and Defilers coming from Monster with every wave. Monster just outpacing Crassy constantly still, as you can see by the production tab. Those Zerglings just pushing as hard as they can through the swarms. And you hear the Marines getting slaughtered underneath. Crassio's army not really standing much of a chance here once the Dark Swarms are placed well. And you hear another medic dying in the... And while they harass on that side, you see another wave of troops coming in on the north end here. And then they decide last second they're gonna come through the ramp instead, maybe. Watching the Dark Swarms fade now as they continue to push. It looks like Monster is getting more confident now with his pushes because a significant chunk of Crassio's army has been destroyed. And so the need for Dark Swarm has lessened a fair bit. that bunker doing good work down there, but it's going to eventually die. All those SCVs trying their best to repair it. But you can still see that they're going to have to do a better job at repairing it because they are getting slaughtered as well, just trying to do the repairs. And you have another wave here just hovering, getting kited by a vulture. That bunker was very well placed as well, watching that outer base. But unfortunately, it's not going to be enough to save them from the lurkers under the Dark Swarm. And one by one, you're going to watch those Marines get killed. And while they're distracted, the other wave is going to push in from the top, as you can see. The Filers devouring more Zerglings as they push the Dark Swarms onto the next bunker. Solid use of lurkers too. They're very well spaced and picking their targets. And it looks like he's also found a base in the upper left. Not sure why he's holding those few units back behind the bridges, but he's definitely pushing the attack now. Siege tank placed on the upper level at his main, trying to fire through the swarm. But as you can see, these units are just immediately killing almost anything that comes at them at this point. Crassio's army absolutely not standing much of a chance against the onslaught of Zerglings. This is absolutely impressive target selection as well. There goes the siege tank on the upper level. And now he's going to focus on the command center of Comsat. Crassio lifting the command center to try and save it. But it's not going to be enough because you can see the Hydralisks firing at it. But the army decides they're going to ignore it now and push up. Probably because it's burning down. Those Hydralisks making fast work of those missile turrets, presumably so that they can have the Mutalisks come in and assist. Again, this is a really impressive target selection on Monster's part. This is beyond anything I've ever done myself. And this base just getting absolutely wrecked. And it looks like Crassio has surrendered, which is a win for Monster. I'd like to thank everybody for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.